Hello, I'm Chance.
And I'm Sergio.
And this is Brick Wall Cinema.
Welcome to the party, pal! Oh my God. That's your home! Are you too good for your home? Answer me! I'm a peacock! You gotta let me fly! Have you ever met a person you say, hey, let me get some parfait? They say, hell no, I don't like no parfait.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Welcome back to Brick Wall Cinema. And for today's week, we're talking about Bad Boys for Life. The 2020 hit right before COVID happened. And that totally didn't help the box office for this movie.
Wait, what year did this come out?
This movie came out on January 17th, 2020.
2017?
No, January 17th, 2020.
Oh, okay.
17 years after the second Bad Boys movie.
Wow. I wonder what led them to make this.
It's been in production hell for like 17 years.
It doesn't show on the movie because we just watched it and it's pretty good compared to what came before.
Let's go over the basic info. Rated R, directed by Audi El Arbi and Bilal Fallah. I might have butchered those names. I'm sorry.
I think someone else will just do it in comments, you know.
If they put in the comments, they're going to spell it, and I'm not going to understand it because still not pronouncing it.
No, they can do pronunciations like how they do on dictionaries, where they split it up into what it actually sounds like.
Oh, okay. You know what they also directed, Sergio?
What?
Miss Marvel.
That actually explains a lot.
Yeah. And produced by Jerry Bruckheimer, Will Smith, and Doug Belgrad. Written by Chris Bremer, Peter Craig, and Joe Carnahan. With a runtime of 2 hours and 4 minutes. With a budget of $90 million. I think that's $30 million less than the second movie. It grossed $426.5 million at the box office.
Not bad.
It's the highest grossing installment in the franchise. That's a huge feat. Anyway, the Rotten Tomatoes score has 76% for critics and 96% for audiences. Huge step up from the last two movies. Huge. And we got the cast coming back. We got Will Smith as Mike Lowry, Martin Lawrence as Marcus Burnett, Joe Pantoliano as Captain Conrad Howard, Vanessa Hudgens as Kelly, the weapons expert from Ammo. And we got a couple of cameos in here too, Sergio. Did you catch any of them?
I don't think so. I thought they were cameos, but I just didn't know who they were.
Okay, so we have Michael Bay as the wedding MC.
I knew it.
You did?
I knew that guy looked familiar, but I just couldn't tell from what. But now that you say it, yes, I totally see it. Yeah,
and even when they show him, they're doing a 360 shot on him, like how in every other movie when they showed the two bad boys, it always was swimming across them. That's like his signature. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
No, I know that because I remember how there was always this big shot of them going 360.
Okay, then. And we got DJ Khaled. As Nenny the Butcher.
Yeah, that I know.
Okay, on a side note here, when you see Mike banging the hammer on his hand, after that he grabs his arm with pigskin on him, and he's about to hit him again. I swear after he was going to hit him, he's like, another one!
Another one.
Come on, that was good. That was funny.
I just heard it in so many other places that it is kind of desensitized. There's been a lot of jokes with that line, actually, from what I remember.
Well, you just call me unoriginal. Okay, fine.
I mean, you already said you called yourself unoriginal.
The two directors also have a cameo in the movie. Fala is the guy that was trying to seduce Rita in the club. And LRB gets pulled out of the Jeep at the club with Mike trying to get in. And that was a reference to the Michael Bay cameo in Bad Boys 2, where he got pulled over and got out of his car.
Didn't Michael Bay do this one?
I don't know. Let's go over the synopsis.
Marcus and Mike are forced to confront new threats, career changes, and midlife crises as they join the newly created elite team, Ammo, of the Miami Police Department to take down the ruthless Armando Armas, the vicious leader of a Miami drug cartel.
All right. Thank you, Sergio. So let's get into our opinions on the movie. You go first, because I know I've seen it a couple times. You haven't. This is like your second time watching it?
This is my first time watching it.
Oh, it's your first time watching it. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. In my honest opinion, I love this movie. It was incredibly, it was mind-blowingly good for me. I did not expect it to be this good. I expected there to be a lot of good stuff in it, but I did not expect me to like it this much.
I felt like you'll love this movie a lot more than the other ones, because I know how you are about story.
Yes, there was a lot more story, and the action, while the other ones felt more like eye candy, this one felt it contributed something to the story. Even the comedic moments felt as though they were giving something to the story.
I love this movie still. I just watched it again today to get my notes for this movie. And yeah, I don't know how to... It made it hard for me to rank these movies, because initially after I saw it in theaters, I said 2, 3, 1 as my ranking for the movies. But after I started revisiting all these movies again, I like them all in different ways. So I guess that's why...
You like different aspects of each one that makes it unique to what you like about it.
Yes. I found out why I like the first two movies uniquely. They're shot like action movies and comedy added to the movie. Whereas Bad Boys for Life, it had more emphasis on comedy than action. It still had a lot of action. It still had the Michael Bay type action in it. But when they shot a comedic scene, it didn't feel like jarring.
I get what you mean. Because I noticed this about Michael Bay's movies. He does really well action scenes and blockbuster kind of stuff. But when he does franchises, it kind of gets jarring as you don't focus on the story anymore. And it's just all a bunch of action. The action can be good and can relate a lot to the story. But based on what kind of movie it is, if it's part of a franchise, it's going to feel inconsistent with it. Kind of how, Ambulance, right? I'm pretty sure the audience would know about Ambulance. But just a refresher, Ambulance is a Michael Bay movie that is actually done really well because it focuses on the action that the ambulance hijacked by criminals has to go through in order to try and make it out alive. Whereas movies like a franchise, like one of his most famous ones was Transformers, the storyline kind of got mixed up a bit, but the action and story itself was still pretty good. But as we all know, the movies kind of fell out of the public's interest because sometimes the storyline wasn't always consistent. And I noticed that with this one, when we did the first two, the action was cool and all. The first one, you can tell it was one of his first ones because he was still trying to figure himself out, but you can definitely tell his signature. The second one was better, and we did enjoy it a lot more because there was a lot more story in it and a lot more substance than just plain action eye candy. But this one felt more fluid. It felt like a complete story that you could follow without being too jarred of what's happening on screen.
Yeah, it felt even, but in a good way.
Yeah.
They knew how to balance the comedy and the action with the scenes that they're doing, like the action scenes, having comedic moments in them, but not have it feel like they're like another writer writing it in a way where it's sort of blended together. Like, hey, you want to do an action scene? Okay, can you write for I can also write the comedic scenes for the action if you want me to. Like, yes, please do that. It felt like one of those ideas, one of those movies. You know what I mean?
This was the most balanced out of all the movies of this franchise we've seen.
Yeah, because the first one, the comedy was more in everyday. The comedy was in the dialogue, not during action scenes, but just in general, like when they're talking between action scenes during the story. And the second one, they added more comedy during action scenes and during the dialogue.
Yes, basically, in the first one, the comedy was all in the dialogue. The second one, they added more comedy into the scenes while also keeping most of the comedy in the dialogue. And in this one, there's a balance between the comedic dialogue and the scene dialogue, and the dialogue comedy and the scene comedy.
Yeah, and you don't feel like there's no huge gory scenes that you're like, oh my God, how are you just making a joke out of that? You can't really do that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'll give examples to make it easier for everyone. The first movie, they're going to Club Hell. There's not really much comedic moments in that scene. They mainly just go fight. They go in a truck. That's where the comedy is, in the truck. And even then, it's like little bits, but that's it. Second movie, you have them driving the highway, and Marcus is shooting guns outside the car, but yet out of nowhere, he accidentally slips and starts shooting the airbags in the car. That's a comedic scene that works for it. But the next thing you know, corpses come out of the back seat of the car. Like, where did that come from? How does that? The tones aren't matching with what we're seeing here. And in this one, the jokes are like with Marcus going to go see the coked up accountant. You see him getting beat down by trying to talk to him. It blends the humor from the story and the situation that they're going to and putting into the action where it makes sense. It's like they're not putting the action scene and trying to make bits while doing the comedy, while doing the action scene. It's like the comedy is working with itself. Like, what will this character do at this moment right now that wouldn't damage his or reputation or his character? What would he do? Marcus throughout the whole movie is trying to be better, trying not to do more violence. And he made a deal with God. So throughout the whole movie, he's trying to work by talking his feelings out.
Are you talking about the movie or what is it? You kind of lost me.
I did?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, you went on a rant and now I'm just lost.
Okay. You know, I didn't even know I was going on a rant. I was just word vomiting. Yeah.
Ranting.
Not ranting, Serge. I wasn't ranting. I was making a point, but I just got into it.
That's ranting.
No. Ranting means that you don't know what you're talking about. You're getting angry and vented. I'm not venting. I am expressing.
So what was the point you were trying to make?
The point I was trying to make is that this movie is balanced. Okay, there. What do you want to go talk about next?
But we stated that at least 3 times.
Yeah, I want to make a point of it, though. I want to make an example.
But that is the point.
But I need examples.
We went over those examples.
Yeah, I did. And you caught me in the middle of giving examples.
But you said you were word vomiting.
I was word vomiting while also giving examples. You can be right and stupid at the same time.
I want you to see if that makes sense to you. See, you're getting lost in your own thoughts.
Let's get our notes then. So one thing I want to point out is that there's a point in the movie where you see on Mike's phone, the contact photo for Marcus is the poster for Bad Boys 2. Did you notice that?
Okay.
That kind of hurt my head for a minute there. Because how would he got that photo? Am I thinking too hard about this?
Yes.
I thought I was. Okay. Also, I thought it was funny he called him Quitter on his contact photo, the contact name.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our favorite scenes then. I have 2 favorite scenes. During the wedding, after everything happened, and Mike's talking to Marcus trying to convince him to go back under the force to help him.
Marcus, I'm begging you, man. I need this. Bad Boys. One last time. No, Mike. No.
I like the dramatic aspect of that scene because it felt genuine. That one thing about this movie is that they focus more on the characters. Like, the joke is that we know that they're old. They're not really bad boys anymore. They're grown men that have kids that want to retire. They're too old for this shit. That's a reference to Lethal Weapon if you didn't catch it, Sergio.
I haven't seen Lethal Weapon.
Not yet. Anyway, I just liked how serious that scene was because it felt genuine. And my other favorite scene was when they tried talking to the coked up accountant.
So you want to have a conversation with a coked out orange mouth? I'm going to penetrate this man's soul with my heart.
What were your favorite scenes, Sergio?
I would say my first, the one I think of the most was when they were on the motorcycle on the highway chase and they were talking about this is God's gift telling you to shoot these guys.
That is God's gun. It is sent to you in your time of need. Well, shit, I do need it right now. Yes, you are a vessel for the Lord's work.
That was one of my favorites.
That's God's God. He gave it to you to use your weapon.
Amen. I like that. And it's a fight scene, but I don't remember which one. Oh wait, I like was it Thorn or Dorns?
Who?
Dorn, the big guy who's the tech support.
You would know, man. I forgot.
I know. I remember seeing his name in the cast, but I forgot it was Thorn or Dorn because it's something weird. It's something like that. I liked his character a lot, especially at the end fight because he was just so cool. But throughout the entire movie, they made a point to say like he's not really a very violent guy. He likes to be behind the desk. He doesn't like to hurt anybody. So seeing a guy like that go all out in the fight is really cool and satisfying to see it for me.
Yeah, I want to know, what do you think of ammo in this movie?
it was interesting to see more characters being able to do the same thing as the main characters and not just be background fodder. They did that in the second movie, but you were actually able to get to know these people as people. You were actually get to see their characters, like who they are, how they act, that kind of stuff.
I thought that they were a good addition to the movie. They bring in the modern generation, and not like a reboot or like a spin-off type of way, more as in
they add to the roster.
Yeah, but what I mean by that is like they are the new ways modern policing is done. It's just cool to see where they were in the 90s and how they are nowadays based on how Mike and Marcus used to be and now how much it advanced.
You mean the technical logic? You mean technology?
Yeah.
That has more to do with the tech and gadgets rather than the people themselves.
That too. I mean, just the idea of them too.
The idea of a new generation?
Yeah. I'm not saying they're going to be doing any spin-offs of them.
No, I'm not saying we're not saying that. We're not thinking that either. But I'm trying to understand what it is that you're saying that you liked about it. You're liking the fact that they brought in a new generation with more tech.
Yeah, and they didn't make it seem like they're going to be the new bad boys or anything, or they're going to have their own spin-offs. It's like they are just there to help Marcus and Mike. They are an addition to bad boys. They're not trying to hijack it or anything. They are just part of the team now. It's rare that you see that nowadays on legacy sequels.
Like Creed?
Yeah, in a way. Because with Creed, it wasn't until the third movie for Creed that they made its own thing without Rocky in it. I don't think they'll do that with this movie. Anyway, with this movie, it was cool that we got sort of an origin story on Mike without having to be re-shown to us. It's just more mainly given dialogue and we could connect the dots with it later. Because all we've seen from Mike before this movie was that he was a ladies' man and didn't want to be tied down. And it's cool we got to see the reason why he's like this without being sort of like a gimmick in a way. Whereas repercussions in his future life than it would be back then. Does it make any sense?
You're saying... Actually, no, I'm lost now.
By that, I mean like when they have sequels come out, trying to explain how characters are unique in a way, it sort of could damage how you see them later or in past movies because of what you know now. But with this movie, it sort of gave a logistical reason why, and it also helped explore the psyche of this character.
Can you try and put it in layman's terms?
Layman's terms. Okay. Minions origin story. We learned more about the Minions. We didn't need to know about the Minions. Then it sort of damaged how we see them in Despicable Me because we know more about them that we didn't need to know. Okay, in this movie, we got bad boys, we got Mike. We didn't need to know about his background, but it's cool we did because it sort of makes sense on how he is nowadays. It's necessary for the story or the plot of the movie. It doesn't have to be just a gimmick idea where they can sell the movie by saying, you'll find out the origin story of Mike Lowry because no one really cared, first of all, until we see it. Or how it makes sense in the plot. Like, you need a reason to go back there and explain to us and not have it just be a gimmick to where it can just be at any point in the movie where they showed him like references to the first movie by him doing things that are like, ooh, look at that Porsche. That looks cool. You know, I'm fucking rambling now. God damn it, Sergio. Why are you doing this to me, man? I'm trying to explain it. You're getting fucking swerving left and right, trying to explain things in layman's terms. I can't really do that.
Well, that's because you're trying to get really deep in thought, but that doesn't make any sense. Also, I was following you along. You're saying that they didn't go deep into his background, into his backstory. They just gave a little tidbit of why he is this way, and it doesn't ruin the character.
Yes, it doesn't make it to where it does damages how we see him now throughout the movie and in past movies. It does not do that. It makes it to where
it does not contradict the character.
Yes, it explains things that have to be gimmicky.
It explains the character, but not to the extent that it ruins the perception everyone has of the character.
Yes, because in every other movie, it will be reenacting scenes from his childhood or scenes from when he was younger and dropping in little references to things that we know nowadays, like him with the Porsche, him with his parents that are rich, and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
So basically every spinoff ever.
Yes, it didn't do that. And I'm glad it didn't. Now I'm mad. Thank you, Sergio.
I mean, you're the one who brought it up.
Don't put this on me, man.
I can, and I will, because
you shouldn't. You can't.
You're saying this is my fault, and I'm just saying you're the one who brought it up.
Because you're over here saying, why? Why?
I do not understand your reasoning. And if I can't understand it, people who are listening won't be able to.
Sergio, you don't think that I'm trying to do this as a joke? with us making this arguing right now?
You don't think I'm playing along?
I know you're not.
You know I'm not.
Because I didn't plan this.
So only when it's planned is when you know I'm playing along.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
What do you mean by that?
I see.
No. Come back here. What do you mean by that?
It means I see. I understand.
No. You don't see shit. What do you mean? Explain to me.
Exactly what it means. I understand.
You have glasses. You don't see shit.
You can't see me.
4 eyes. I'm sorry. That was hard. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you the F word. I'm sorry.
I only know you do that when you have nothing else to retort to.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, let's talk about Marcus. We talked about Mike a lot. Let's talk about Marcus. How do you feel about him in this movie?
To be honest, he does a lot more in this movie than I thought.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not really sure why I feel this way, but I feel he has more spotlight in this, or that his character does more. In the first two, I thought that Mike Lowry does more of the action stuff, whereas Marcus does more of the comedy stuff. In this one, it felt like they both did equal parts of it.
Are you sure about that? Because I can name a couple of instances where it was more Mike doing action things and Mike and Marcus just are going around saying, oh, damn, oh,
that's what I said. I said that in the first two movies, it felt like Marcus was mostly comedy, where Mike was mostly action.
No, I mean in this movie.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. But
no, you said in other movies.
Yes. In the other movies,
okay.
I said that it felt like Marcus was more funny, while Mike was more action. That's what it felt like to me. Even though they both did those things, it felt like Marcus focused on comedy, Mike focused on action. And in this one, while they do stick to those things, it also felt more balanced, that they both did both equal action and equal comedy. Even though Marcus still focuses on the comedy, Mike still focuses on the action. Like how my favorite scene was them on the bikes shooting shooting on the freeway. I like that scene because it showed both of them in the action. Well, Marcus was very comedic during that. He was also very cool during that scene. That scene where he starts lifting up the shotgun and shooting at the helicopter, that was awesome. I don't usually see that from his character.
You know, you're right. I didn't think about that. I was thinking more of the scene of him literally being on the sidecar while Marcus is driving. That's usually all the scenes with him driving is usually him being in a sidecar or in a passenger seat.
He doesn't really do much aside from like one shooting scene and then him stopping after a while. Where in this one, he kept shooting.
Yeah. Also, let's talk about how every movie he wants to end it. Like, he's like, I'm done, Mike. I'm leaving. And every time.
In the first one, I don't think he actually wanted to quit, did he?
No, you know what? No. He wanted to stay for that. But in the second one, he's like, I'm transferring. I'm done. I'm tired of this, Mike. And this one, he's like, I'm retired. You were dead. Which was actually a really cool aspect of this movie we didn't even mention yet.
I sat by your bedside. I wiped the drool off your chin, Mike. Don't disrespect me like that, because you don't know.
The fact that he got shot, and that's the reason why he's so hell-bent on tracking this guy down, that's a great way to ground a story. Do not make it go crazy. Or I have a story that doesn't really involve these characters, that doesn't need them to be here. This is a way for them to be here. Why? Because it's their story.
Chance, you're going in circles.
No. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So in most movies like this, they have someone close to the investigation or close to the characters to give them motivation to why they're doing these actions. Where in this one, it's not someone aside from them getting hurt. It's one of them getting hurt.
Yeah, in the first movie, like the whole inciting incident was these bad guys stole a huge drug bust that they did.
And they killed one of Mike's friends.
Yes. Second movie, ecstasies in Miami. That's bad. We got to stop it. And they also stole Mike's girlfriend and Marcus's sister. This one, Mike gets shot and Marcus is retired. And also they kill the captain. And they kill everyone involved with the case involving the witch.
That was after. Mike was already motivated to get him because he felt that he needed to redeem himself as his persona as a cop. Then when the captain got hurt, it was a result because he felt personally involved because he felt that he kept pushing to be on this case, which is why he thought it was his fault in the first place. It was only later that they realized that they were just targeting everyone else because of the fact they were all related to this one case that happened years ago.
Yeah, so we're saying the same thing right now.
I think so.
Okay, so last one. Tell me if you caught this, Sergio. When Will was talking about his son and saying how he's just like him.
He's crazy like me. He's ruthless like me. He's fearless like me. He's the fucked up me. No, Mike, you the fucked up you.
Did it remind you of Gemini Man?
I think I know why he's as good as you. He is you.
You chose me because there's never been anybody like me. You made a person out of another person.
Yes.
It didn't for me too. Because I'm like, but yeah, this is a lot better than Gemini Man.
Yeah.
Also produced by Jerry Bruckheimer. But yeah, okay. One more thing. I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of not. There's another cameo that I think we missed. So at the end of the movie where Will Smith's trying to confront the witch at the house, there's a shot where you see him walking. It's on the ground. You see two rats. Do you think that that's a cameo from the second movie?
I don't see how it's a cameo if it's a rat.
Two rats.
What about the two rats?
You don't remember the scene where the two rats were having sex?
Mike, there's a papa rat humping the shit out of this mama rat. No, he's straight pile driving her. Now, how is that information going to help me do my job? They just like us.
Those are puppets, weren't they?
Sergio.
What?
Do you not understand my frustration right now?
No. I thought it was a reference to the first one, how there was a bunch of rats inside the house.
Do you think that in the universe of the movie, those rats were puppets?
Chance, are you saying that they would have the puppets actually move like actual rats?
No, I'm saying that was a joke for, we know that they're puppets, but in the universe of the movie and Bad Boys 2, those are real rats pal driving each other.
I can't tell whether you're talking about the joke or you're trying to make it seem like these are the same rats.
I was joking at first, but now I'm starting to get concerned.
I don't know if they would even live that long.
I'm joking, Sergio. I was making a joke. Damn.
That's what I'm asking. Do you want to continue with? Are you trying to make a joke or are you trying to be serious about this? That's
not anymore. I'm not making a joke anymore. It's dead. It's dead. You killed it.
I know.
You shot it too many times. There's no way to revive it.
You said it was a cameo.
It's bleeding on the ground.
Real rats.
The ambulance. It's gonna take too long for the ambulance to get over and revive it. It's gone. It's a goner.
So what do you want to talk about?
Our ratings. God.
All right, then go ahead.
I give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I loved it because it's an even balance of action and comedy without it losing any of either side. And it's just everything I wanted in a Bad Boys movie plus more story.
It gives it more substance.
Yeah, it's like a dinner. It's like a well-balanced meal. With the other movies, it was more meat and more steak. And this one, you got a little entree. You got a little broccoli. Got a little gravy next to it too. Some mashed potatoes. It's an even meal.
Basically, as we said before, the others were more eye candy and more things to look at that were a feast for the eyes. Whereas this one, there's stories of things to chew on.
Yes. Way to embrace the food punch, Sergio. Thank you, Chance. You're an awesome host. Thanks, Sergio. I really appreciate it.
Do you want me to just praise you the entire time I'm on here?
No, but at least once or something. I mean, I'm paying your bills, man.
You're not paying me shit. For me, I want to give it a 5, but I don't know how to compare it. So, you know what?
You don't need to compare it. Just say how you feel about this movie by yourself.
Then yeah, I'll give it a 5 out of 5. For me, I just really like this movie, and it felt like a complete story. It was just something really enjoyable.
Let me guess how you rank this movie, Sergio, based on how you feel about these. 3, 2, 1.
I would think so, yeah.
Okay. And I love them all equally. They're like my children. I love you all equally, but I love you in different ways. You're my little bad boys. My grown-ass bad boys who need to get out the house and stop doing the same shit you've been doing for the past 17 years.
Do you want to go into the trivia?
Yeah, let's go into trivia. So, this movie was saved from development hell. So, work on the Bad Boys movie initially began in 2019 when Peter Craig was hired to develop a screenplay, with Joe Carnahan joining in 2015. Due to scheduling conflicts with various cast and crew members, the project languished for years, and Sony Pictures ultimately pulled the film from its release schedule, with series star Martin Lawrence doubting that a sequel would be happening later that month. However, after Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle became a surprise hit for Sony at the end of that year, which prompted the studio to begin reviving multiple non-Spider-Man properties the studio had under his belt and pull Bad Boys for Life out of development hell once and for all, with Aldi El Arabi and Bilal Falal being hired to direct in February 2018 and principal photography to begin in January 2019. That took a lot. That was a mouthful. So we could thank Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle for Morbius, Madam Web, Craven, Venom Let There Be Carnage.
What? I thought you said that the reason why Jumanji was to thank for them bringing up IPs besides Spider-Man.
That's what I said, yeah.
But Madam Web and Venom are IPs that were originally from the Spider-Man IP.
That's what I'm saying.
So we have Jumanji to thank for them being bad movies or them being created?
For them being created.
But they're still a Spider-Man IP.
Non-Spider-Man properties, though.
But they're still connected to Spider-Man.
It's a blurred line.
All right.
So yeah. Now, no, we got more, but I thought you might have more to explain, more to talk about for that, because I thought that'd be a lot interesting to know.
It is interesting to know, but it's confusing on how it imparts about these, because based on those movies, Venom was pretty good, but Madam Web felt like a cash grab and not much work was put into it.
I think we should do a review on that.
I mean, we have watched it, so maybe we'll do a review, but we would have to do it with the other people we saw. Okay, what's the next thing?
So, is there any other franchise that Michael Bay's done besides Transformers and this?
To be honest, I don't think so, because he is not really well known for franchises besides those ones. Let me look it up. See. Oh, he did a TMNT.
He produced those.
Oh yeah. Let me see. Michael Bay movies.
I don't think he has actually.
Bad Boys. Oh, he did Armageddon. That's interesting.
You didn't know?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh.
I mean, it makes sense once I look back on it, but when I was back then, I didn't really pay attention to directors, you know. Well, no, it doesn't look like he has done many franchises.
Okay, well, it's funny because this and Transformers have one thing in common. The next movie that came out that he didn't direct became like huge hit and huge critical hit. Because Bumblebee came out and people love that. I love Bumblebee too. And this one, and Bad Boys for Life, people love it.
Yeah, because he does not like, I believe he does not like doing franchises or sequels. He likes to make a big impact on the first one. But once that happens, it's all about trying to connect it with story, which he does do, but he doesn't do it as well as he did before. Because he likes to capture your attention and to keep it by having heavy action, which is good, but his movies are not known for having a very concrete story with a lot of backstory and history, where it's more of what's in your face, this is what's happening right now. Whereas you can see with this one, the directors try to be more fluid with their story to make it easy to understand, while also having tons of history to look back on.
Yeah, we're to let the story drive the action and not the action drive the story.
Yes.
They didn't say, what cool action scene can we make out of this? But yeah. No, wait, how can we put this into the story? That's how I felt like for the past two movies.
Yeah, you notice how Michael Bay always tries to do something bigger, but he also tries to make it congruent to the story because he mostly focuses on the action because it's what gets people excited. But when you're trying to make a franchise, it's best to get in another director. While Michael Bay could produce it, he doesn't really do too well with franchises because he has a hard time. I believe he has a hard time trying to connect them all without having them feel like one-off things that aren't connected that well.
Right. All right. Let's go into the quiz. Ready?
Yeah.
Question 1. From which prison did Isabel Aritas escape with the aid of her son Armando? An American prison, a Colombian prison, a Mexican prison, or a Japanese prison?
A Mexican prison.
Correct.
Right.
Question 2. Mike was shot dead by Armando. True or false?
False.
Wrong. Question 3. Captain Howard allowed Mike to work with the tech-driven team blank. Advanced Miami Metro Operations, Advanced New York Metro Operations, Advanced Chicago Metro Operations, or Advanced Tulsa Metro Operations.
This feels dumb because it's literally spelled ammo. Advanced Miami Metro Operations.
You sure?
Yes.
Correct. Question 4. Rita was Mike's blank. Ex-wife, girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, or wife?
Ex-girlfriend.
Correct. Question 5. How did Armando arrive to rescue Suelo? In a helicopter, on a bike, in a ship, or in a car?
In a helicopter.
Correct. Question 6. Who killed Suelo? Marcus, Captain Howard, Mike, or Armando?
Armando.
Correct. Mike worked as in blank in the Rita's cartel. Police officer, private detective, none of the above, or undercover officer.
Okay, now this one's hard because they told us his job in there, but did they mean that? What was his? Just put undercover officer.
Are you guessing?
Just do it.
Okay. Correct. Question 8. Where did Isabel's support helicopter crash when Marcus shoots his pilot? Terrace, a tree, central lobby, or a car?
What's a terrace?
Like balcony.
Oh, central lobby.
Correct. Question 9. Who confirms that Mike is the real father of Armando? Isabel, Mike, Marcus, or Jenkins?
All right, now this is hard because both Mike and Isabel say it, but I'm gonna say Isabel.
Correct. Who shot Isabel to death? Mike, Rita, Armando, or Kelly?
Rita.
Correct. Good job, Sergio. You got 90 out of 10. Wait, no, you got 90 out of 100. Good job. And that is a wrap for today's Bad Boys for Life episode. I'm Chance.
I'm Sergio.
Have a cinematic day. Hey everyone, thanks for listening. And be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok at Brick Wall Cinema. Have a cinematic day.